Imagine waking up on what should be a normal day, but when you open your eyes, you are no longer in your own world. You are trapped in a fantasy world filled with monsters, magic swords, and rules you know nothing about. At first, it looks like a simple training stage, but then something goes wrong. The system breaks. And instead of staying there for a few days or a few months, you are trapped for 22 years. 22 years of monsters, 22 years of pain, hunger, and training until your body becomes a living weapon. And when people finally see you, they think you are weak because your level still looks low. But the truth is, Ryu came out of hell itself. Terrifying strength, an impossible body, and one sword that can turn any battle into a disaster. And from here, his journey begins in a world that does not forgive weakness, a world that hates outsiders, and every step he takes could expose his secret and turn him into a target. Get ready, because this story has brutal fights, strange comedy, shocking moments, and a hero who was broken by the system but came out more dangerous than any monster. So without wasting any more time, do not forget to like the video and tell me in the comments, do you think Ryu can survive this world, or will his secret be exposed from the very beginning? Let's begin the story. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are starting a brand new story. One of those stories that feels simple at first, but gets crazier the more you watch. Before we begin, make sure to drop a like, and let's try to get this video to 10,000 likes. Now let's begin.
Our story begins with a guy who has just woken up. He gets out of bed and, of course, like any otaku, he decides to sit at his computer. He says that things have started to become boring and that every day feels exactly the same. He is sitting there eating chips in front of his favorite channel Manhwa tale, but then something extremely strange happens. A strange aura comes out of the computer and surrounds the boy. The aura pulls him inside the computer. He keeps screaming, but no one hears him and he completely disappears from his room. Suddenly, he starts waking up and finds himself in a very strange place surrounded by people he does not know. He is confused and has no idea what just happened. He asks himself where he is and who all these people are. He keeps wondering what he is doing there and he does not understand anything. But suddenly, while he is drowning in his thoughts, a dog bites his arm and jumps at him. With a quick reaction, our guy grabs a rock beside him and hits the dog with it. He is completely shocked and does not understand anything that is happening. He asks himself what this cold place is and says that he did not do anything to deserve all of this. Not even the chips he was eating were spared. But the dog attacks him again. Our guy hits it with another quick strike, and from the force of the blow, the dog is thrown far away. He gets closer to the dog to see whether it died or not and finds that its jaw was broken from the force of the last hit, but the dog still tries to approach him. Suddenly, a guide window appears in front of him. This guide window explains the traits of the dog in front of him. We discover that it is a level 1 demonic dog and that this dog is one of the lowest monsters in Celartna. Its combat power is equal to that of an unarmed adult man. The guide window tells him that the player can gain experience and level up by killing many monsters in battle. But while he is lost in thought, the dog attacks him again and is about to bite off his neck. He quickly grabs a large rock and smashes the dog's head with it. He keeps smashing the dog's head again and again with repeated strikes. Honestly, the dog was already dead. It looks like our guy was just extremely upset about his bag of chips. But it turns out he was hitting it hysterically because his old life had been destroyed and he was wondering what would happen to him in this new world. Then he throws the rock away and starts shouting in frustration. He says that his life was not even that good to begin with. He remembers all the bad things that happened to him, such as being rejected from military service and never even being able to ask a girl out until now. Then the system window appears again and tells him that his survival rate in this world is less than 5% at his current level. Our guy becomes terrified and extremely nervous. He tries to hit the system window, but it appears again and gives him a choice. Either he ends his life or continues living in this new world. He runs away from the system window and tries to hit it again. He says that this is completely ridiculous and asks himself if agreeing to die here would send him back to his own world. Then he tells himself to calm down and think carefully because this choice is extremely important. But he starts thinking that someone must have kidnapped him and thrown him into this world. He says that the people who kidnapped him surely would not send him back home that easily. So he decides to continue in this world. He says he needs to think of a way to survive in this new world and search for a way to escape from it. Then the guide window appears and tells him that the hero has discovered the power of will and the spirit of struggle and that his strength has increased. A few classes appear in front of him so he can choose from them. He starts wondering which class he should pick. The first class is the fighter class. The guide window says that someone with the fighter class can use martial arts. Our guy says that this sounds fun in video games, but in real life the situation is completely different. The second class is the mage class. This class consumes mana and allows the user to use 6 magical attributes. Our guy tells himself that fighting from long range is definitely better, so he chooses magic. But the guide window tells him that his request has been rejected because he does not have the required abilities for that class. Our guy even failed at choosing a class. Then he sees another class called Magic Swordsman, which is a mix between swordsmanship and magic. He tries to choose it, but unfortunately, as expected, his request is rejected again. He tries to choose healer next, but that gets rejected too. In the end, he has no choice but to pick the fighter class. He tells himself that this is not even a real choice because he cannot pick anything else. Guide window appears again and tells him to choose his first weapon. Once again, our guy tries to choose a weapon that can attack from long range. He tries to pick a long spear, but instead of a long spear, he gets a huge sword. Our guy loses his mind and starts hitting the system window while saying that he did not want a giant sword. He wanted a long spear so he could hit people from far away. Our guy entered the game thinking everything would go exactly the way he wanted. But then he starts calming down a little and says that at least this sword is better than the rock he was using earlier. He says that he does not want to die again. After that, he tries to test his new sword, but every time he tries to swing it, he falls down with the sword because it is too heavy for him. 7 days pass since he arrived in this new world called Selartna. During those 7 days, he kept asking the system how he could return home, but the system never answered. He says maybe the system itself is broken. Then a monster suddenly hits him in the back and runs away. Our guy starts cursing at it. He says that the monsters he fights always have to be dogs, but even these dogs have levels and he can read their levels. The dog in front of him is a level 2 hellhound. Our guy says that every time he swings his sword, the dogs take advantage of that opening and attack him because, as you already know, his sword is too heavy for him. Honestly, I do not blame him because he was forced to carry something heavier than his school bag. Then our guy acts recklessly and rushes toward the dog to attack it with his huge sword, but his movement is slow and the dog dodges it easily. The dog seems surprised by how weak he is and starts mocking him. The dog jumps at him again, but our guy raises his sword and manages to stab the dog with a fatal thrust. Then the system window appears and tells him that he defeated a level 2 hellhound and gained 22 experience points. With that, our guy reaches level 2. His class is swordsman. His strength is 23 points, his health is 19, his toughness is 14, his perception is 5, his dexterity is 7, his speed is 8. He also has one skill, which is thrust. That is probably the same skill he just used on the dog he killed. Then we see him roasting the meat of the dog he had just killed. He asks the system about this meat, and the system tells him that the meat is very useful and contains fats and essential amino acids. It also says that hellhound blood contains moisture, carbohydrates, and essential minerals. The system advises him to drink the dog's blood. He says to himself that there must be a reason why he exists in this place. He remembers that when he was in that strange place, he heard that there were millions of candidates. He keeps asking himself where all the other candidates went. Suddenly, the system window appears in front of him and tells him that he can leave the current area, which is the Rocky Mountains, once he reaches level 5. After that, he will be able to meet the other chosen ones, which are the people he was asking about earlier. Our guy is confused and says, what are these Rocky Mountains, because he does not understand anything. The system window explains more about the starting area. It says that this place is called the Rocky Mountains and that it is considered a safe starting zone. The death rate there is very low and gaining experience is more efficient. All the monsters here are low level, and this is the safest place in Selartna where the chosen ones can reach level 5. After reaching level 20, he will be able to leave Selartna and travel to other cities. Our guy says, wait a second. So the area I am in now is a beginner zone where players raise their level to 5. After I reach level 5, I can move to the next area where other players exist. I can join them, form parties, and reach level 20 more easily. Then after reaching level 20, I will be able to move freely around this world, and that is when the real battles will begin. Then he asks the system what he is supposed to do on this entire continent outside of the city. The system glitches and an error window appears. Our guy realizes that this is why the dogs keep getting stronger every time. He says that this is important information, but wonders whether he can actually return home. He says he cannot trust this system and that he needs to find other chosen ones and get more information from them. He has to reach level 5 and leave this place. So our guy goes to search for more hellhounds so he can kill them and collect experience points. He starts hunting them down and killing them one after another. He gains more experience and levels up. He learns a new skill called side slash. Then we see him attacking a level 3 hellhound. These dogs have the skills of beginner warriors. He attacks the dog, but the dog hits him and throws him away. His life becomes a repeated cycle. He gets injured, kills dogs, eats, and sleeps. Then he wakes up, kills more dogs, gets injured, eats, and sleeps again. His life keeps going like that until he gains many levels. Then we see him facing another dog. The dog attacks him, but our guy grabs some dirt and throws it into the dog's eyes. With a quick movement, he strikes it with his sword. The system tells him that he gained 81 experience points and reached the required amount of experience for level 5. He manages to reach level 5 on his 27th day. His skills are thrust, side slash, and vertical slash. He also gained some physical fitness points. He says that he feels much better now. Even his extremely heavy long sword has become much lighter and he can swing it easily. But then the system shows another error window. The system says that he has dropped from level 5 back to level 1. Our guy is completely shocked and wants to cry. He tells himself that this must just be a glitch or something. It must be just a message and nothing more. The guide must be broken. He checks his status window and finds that he really is level 1 again. His class is still swordsman. His stats are the same and he still has his 3 skills. Our guy receives the shock of his life and screams for a while. But when he focuses, he realizes that his stats are still there and his skills are still with him even though he is back to level 1. Then he tries to think positively and says that the dog should also be level 1 again and that this might let him collect stats more easily. He tries to convince himself that this is actually great. But after a while, he discovers that he was wrong. The hellhounds begin becoming much stronger. Every time he reaches level 5, he is reset back to level 1 and the error window appears again. He keeps repeating the process over and over. Every time he reaches level 5, he returns to level 1 again many times. Of course, each time the dogs become far stronger than the previous time. Our guy continues killing these dogs to grow stronger. He says he only needs 77 more experience points to reach level 5 again and says that people say the 7th time brings luck, so this attempt has to succeed. Then we discover that he kept killing these dogs for 7 whole years. During those 7 years, he kept going from level 1 to level 5, then back to level 1 again over and over. He says that the chosen ones do not age, and because of their recovery ability, their wounds heal every time. He says that the only skills he has are thrust, side slash, and vertical slash. These are the same skills he had at the beginning. Not only that, but the dogs have become much stronger. Then we see a huge skeletal dog crawling out of the pit where he had been throwing the dogs' bodies. He says that recently the dogs have become much stronger. He says these monsters exist so they can be killed, but asks how you are supposed to kill something that is already dead. Then we move to another scene. There is a screen showing all the chosen ones and someone is sitting in front of those screens watching them. He says that he has gotten used to this because this is the 5th time he has done it. He says that the second world will take the players an entire year to complete the mission. He hopes to see interesting players this time. Then he sees something strange in front of him and says, "What is this world? Was it excluded or was it cut off?" The situation looks very strange. Then he grabs the image of our hero and we discover that his name is Ryu. In this scene, our hero opens his eyes unclearly and asks himself if he returned. He says that this makes sense now and that he was only dreaming, so he will just continue sleeping. But before he sleeps, his alarm sound rings. It is actually the system window again asking him whether he wants to end his life or not. Suddenly, something unexpected happens. Our guy wakes up from the dream and finds himself in a strange place. He asks where he is and we discover that he had fallen from a cliff. That is why he was seeing strange hallucinations earlier, like returning home. He says that he survived another day and that falling from the cliff was not enough to kill him. We see that he is still level 1. He becomes extremely frustrated and starts pulling his hair. He says, is this even called living? He does not even feel alive anymore. Maybe he should just follow the system's words and end his life. He says that he has suffered countless times while killing these monsters. He asks himself whether he would return home if he accepted the system's offer and killed himself. He says that he would die for real, but then says that he will not allow himself to die that easily. Then he says, come on, death is just another monster. He attacks a giant dog and smashes its head. In the next scene, we see an image of where our hero is. He says that maybe 5 or 7 years have passed. We discover that he eventually gave up on counting the days. During that time, he says he gained many hobbies and had to find things to do to fill all that empty time, since the environment around him is full of monsters. Laziness is not allowed at all. In the next scene, we find him with a muscular body holding a new sword that he made himself. It turns out he has become genuinely good at crafting. He places the sword on his back and says that what he just said makes sense. If there is no way to leave this place, then he will do what he can every day with sincerity. He says that the thing in front of him is just a rocky mountain, but he can change it and turn it into a livable place. That is why he started by building himself a house. Honestly, the days have started to become better and better. The weather is nice today. The weather is always nice, but today it is especially great. He says he will not get angry anymore from now on. Unfortunately, he does not even get to finish his sentence because a huge monster destroys his house. Our guy stands there in shock, and honestly it feels like he is about to cry. This huge monster does not just destroy his house but also attacks him. Then a clean strike happens, but we cannot really see it. In the next scene, we see a rock with some blood on it and the monster looks confused. We discover that the monster's arm has been cut off. Even the monster itself is shocked. In the next scene, our hero says 3 years. This house took me 3 years to build. He becomes extremely angry and says, how dare you turn it into dust. He says he knows the house was a little small, but asks what the monster thinks about building a mansion, this time using its bone. The dog gets scared and honestly looks like it is about to cry. Our guy says that this type of demonic dog has started appearing recently. He says they are loud and delicious and their bodies are huge and fast. He says that after hunting so many dogs, he has reached the best way to hunt them. The moment the fight begins, these dogs usually launch close-range attacks. But our guy does not even get to finish his explanation because the dog throws a fireball at him. He is surprised and says the dog started the fight with its strongest attack. The attack reaches Ryu while the dog watches from far away waiting to see what happened. But the dog is shocked. Ryu did not dodge the attack and took the full hit. He says that the attack had a wide range and was impossible to dodge. The only way to block it was with his body strength. Then he curses the dog and says there are no barber shops here. He really likes joking in situations like this. But suddenly, a terrifying magical energy explodes from the dog. We discover that this is mental energy in addition to light and fire. Our guy says that if he takes a hit from that, it looks like it will be very painful. So he grabs the ground and lifts it up, using it to block all these strange attacks. The dog stands there confused and does not understand anything. Then Ryu cuts through that wall and charges at the dog. The dog is terrified of him. While Ryu is flying through the air, he suddenly notices something strange and realizes that he has started falling. He starts flapping in a comedic scene and says that he still has not found his talent yet. Suddenly, our hero manages to land a strike on the dog's upper jaw. He says that in addition to the fact that his level does not increase and that he does not have good skills, he still managed hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of times to combine his 3 skills into one technique called cross impact. He uses it to pierce through the dog's body. He says it is not really a proper skill and that he never thought of it as a proper move or something that looked cool. Then he says that today he managed to live for one more day and survive again. Then we return to the scene with the person holding Ryu's image. He says, is this not the person who had a problem with the system? How is he still here? Wait a second, Sellartna. He says that the world currently in operation is the 5th world Green Ritna. Before it was the 4th world Rogartna, and Sellartna was the 3rd world. We discover that this strange being forgot our guy in Sellartna for 12 years. He starts panicking and wants to pull his hair because there is no way he can just kill Ryu to hide his mistake. He keeps asking himself what he should do. Honestly, he looks like he really messed up. He opens Ryu's stats and finds that he is level 4 with only 3 skills. His skill points are still the same. He keeps asking how did he stay alive for 22 years while still being level 4. His skills are garbage and his abilities are garbage. He says that he does not understand how he stayed alive, but he says this might actually be better for him because there is a way to handle the situation. In another scene, we find Ryu grilling and eating meat. He says that the situation is always like this, but strangely enough, he actually feels good. He decides to take a look at his stats. We find that his stats are still the same, but a new stat display has opened for him. It shows his old stats, but with another number added beside them. He does not understand what it means and wonders how strong he is now. He says that either way, this is still level 4. He keeps laughing and says he really wants to eat something delicious. He wants to meet other people. He wonders how long he will keep living like this and how long he will remain in this place. He says that as long as he is alive until now, he will find a way out of this place. He tries to convince himself to think think positively. But suddenly, he hears a strange sound. We find that the unknown person is trying to break Ryu's world. He says that this is a reckless way to solve the problem. A notification appears for Ryu saying that the third world Cellartna is being destroyed. The strange person says that they can delete all records related to him. In the same scene, Ryu is confused and says what kind of nonsense is happening right now. The strange person says that at this level Ryu will die on the continent of Latna anyway. A huge crack appears in Cellartna and our hero is pulled upward. He says this is impossible and asks what is happening all of a sudden. The system says that the extermination process of the third world has begun and the player is being transferred. Then we find ourselves in a forest full of trees. A blast erupts in the middle of the forest. A strange creature that had been sleeping starts opening its eyes in annoyance. It says these people never get tired and keep coming back again and again. The creature calls them demons from the second world. Beside it, there is a pile of equipment which looks like the equipment of adventurers that this creature killed. In another scene, Ryu is extremely happy. He says impossible and cannot believe what he is seeing. He says he used to think his old world was normal. The sky was always red and there was no sun at all. Now suddenly all of this is happening. Even the trees here have branches. He jumps very high and looks around in amazement. He says he did nothing to reach this place and cannot believe any of it. He keeps jumping around happily and dives into the first pool of water he sees. We learn that this is the northern side of the continent of Latna. Ryu says he does not know how this place is not his home and how the mountain in front of him is not the rocky mountain he is used to. Then Ryu opens his status window and finds something strange. He has reached level 5 without returning to level 1. He also gains a new skill called language communication. Then he realizes something. Is this not Latna? To reach this place he was supposed to be level 20. When he asks the system starts glitching again. He keeps asking himself how he suddenly came here. The system is broken again. He does not understand what he is supposed to do here. Suddenly, a new window appears in front of him. He says he has never seen this window before. In the next scene, he is shocked because the mission is to kill the 6 goddesses of the continent of Latna. The mission reward is eternal youth immortality, returning to his Earth while keeping his abilities and receiving 3 wishes. Then suggestions appear for him. The first is to hide his identity in this world and join the hunting guild in the independent city. He asks himself about the hunting guild and returning to Earth and is completely confused. Suddenly, he hears a roar from far away. We discover that it is the monster we saw in the first scene. Ryu stares at it in shock and says to himself, why is the first monster that appears here a huge dragon? The dragon says, you filthy demon, how dare you enter my forest and even try to face me? Ryu says to himself, why is all of this happening now? I need to get back to my sword quickly. The dragon replies, so that is how it is. Ryu answers, no, I will be too late. Then the dragon says, then turn to ash. Ryu says that the more things happen, the more his excitement to hit enemies increases and that killing comes second after hitting. The dragon looks at him with disgust and says that what he said is truly laughable. But the moment Ryu's fist touches the dragon is sent flying extremely far away. Ryu says, now I will go grab my sword. Then we begin seeing the story of that dragon. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom called Akrat. The knights of that kingdom had a sky dragon named Efer. This dragon was the pride of the knights. Even though everyone loved Efer, there was one thing the dragon hated, which was having the king ride on top of it because the king was extremely tall. One day, the prince rides on the dragon, but the prince falls and dies. After that, they execute the knight who was riding with the prince, and they also wanted to execute Efer. Efer became a lonely dragon living in the forest. Every now and then adventurers would come and attack it for no reason. Although Efer was very strong, it never killed anyone. But one day countless hunters gathered and attacked Efer. It was beaten brutally. Efer said that from that day on it would not forgive anyone again. Then we discover that Efer is female. She says you people are the ones who keep appearing and she had no choice. She also says that she is not actually a dragon. A dragon has 4 legs and 2 wings on its back, while wyverns have wings connected to their front limbs. That is why she is a wyvern and not a dragon. We discover that Ryu's friend had explained all of this to him. Ryu tells her that this is not the point and that he wants to know how she knew he was from another world. He tells her to speak. She cries and says that she does not know. She says all she knows is that when a world is destroyed, the bodies inside it disappear, and suddenly many strange people appear in the forest. Ryu asks her if she assumed he was from another world because of that. He then asks if this means no one can know his identity just by judging his appearance. He also asks whether this place is called the Surt Forest, which belongs to the kingdom of Grelot. The wyvern tells him no. The kingdom of Grelot was destroyed a long time ago and now it is called the kingdom of Akrat. Ryu says damn it, the chat window must not have been updated in a very long time and it only gave him old information. The wyvern begs him not to kill her and says she did not know he was this strong. Ryu replies that she should have hidden instead of attacking him. She says she attacked because he is a demon from another world. Ryu gets angry and says, "Who are you calling a demon?" The wyvern panics and says she is not the one who said that. The goddesses said it. Ryu asks her about the goddesses and tells her to explain. She says that the appearance of earthlings from another world in Latna began about 40 years ago. Then she suddenly says that she is in pain now and asks if she can go home and treat herself with some medicine. Ryu gets angry and asks if she is doing this on purpose and whether she wants to be hit again. We discover that earthlings are the people who came from another world like Ryu, so Ryu is considered an earthling. The wyvern says that at first they blended in with humans and that earthlings did too, but it did not last long. She explains that the humans of this world started killing earthlings like Ryu to raise their own levels. The earthlings felt threatened, so they began gathering the strong from all over the world and formed a team with the goal of killing a god called the Great Earth. She says they were exactly like demons because they could raise their power by eliminating other opponents. There was no way to fight them because they were led by a level 100 leader. To clarify all of this, the humans formed an army to destroy the earthlings like Ryu. But before those humans could wipe out all the earthlings, four great heroes appeared. Baralt the Sword King, Zenobia the Desert Queen, Garhan the Terrible, and Halion the Saintess of Life and Death. These four killed all the humans on the continent in a single moment. Then the 6 goddesses she is talking about appeared and supposedly purified the continent. She says the earthlings are demons from another world who contracted with the god of humans. Because of that, they are executed immediately. Ryu becomes extremely angry because he himself is considered an earthling since he came from another world. Anyone who came from another world is considered an earthling. He angrily says that he was suddenly kidnapped and left to rot on a rocky mountain for decades and that he has only just escaped. And now this wyvern is telling him that if anyone knows he is from another world, the entire continent will become his enemy. The wyvern tells him that all of this happened before she was born. Ryu says that if the goddesses are terrifying enough to do something like that, then he will kill all of them and return to his world. Then Ryu looks at the wyvern and says that he cannot allow anyone to learn his identity. The wyvern thinks that she knew he was a demon too and promises that she will not tell anyone. Then we hear a scream coming from outside the cave. After 5 days, we see that a short distance from the forest there is a massive wall surrounding a huge fortress. This city is located in the northern part of the kingdom of Akrat. It is the same city mentioned at the beginning. The city is not only huge but also has a very large population. Beside it, there is a forest called Surt Forest. There are also dungeons in Sol Even. For anyone who does not know, dungeons are like gates that lead to another world filled with monsters. You enter them to kill monsters and take their resources. This fortress is full of hunters trying to become rich by putting their lives on the line. In another scene, we see a man who seems to be the one responsible for assigning missions. He says that the people who come here are either hunters, people who want to become hunters, or people from another world. And of course, as you know, they are called the Chosen Ones. Then Ryu enters the scene. The owner of the place says, "What the hell is this? He is extremely huge. I have never seen him here before. Is he from another guild? He looks like a very experienced hunter." Ryu bumps into one of the people there and that person is not pleased. He tells Ryu to watch where he is going because he is busy. Suddenly a slap lands on him from the girl standing in front of him. She asks Ryu how she can serve him. The man becomes nervous and says he has never seen Ryu here before and cannot recognize him. He asks if this is his first time coming to the Hunter Guild of Ember City. The receptionist asks how she can help him. Ryu says that he wants to become a hunter. Immediately, all the people around him grab their swords and stare at him. We return to the cave scene where we heard the wyvern scream because Ryu was about to kill her. The wyvern asks Ryu if he is saying that he wants her to help him. He tells her yes. Even if his appearance does not raise suspicion, the fact that he does not have clothes or equipment from this world could still make people suspicious of him. She asks him if he is going to kill her after that. He tells her that she was already killing people anyway, so it is not like she can wander around easily because she is already wanted and people want to kill her. Then he honestly says that it has been a very long time since he talked to anyone. The wyvern gets embarrassed embarrassed and starts remembering how kindly the knights used to treat her. Then she tells him that she will help him. Ryu thanks her, but she tells him not to tell anyone about her. He agrees. Then she tells him to change his clothes first. Ryu immediately starts taking off his clothes in front of her. The wyvern gets embarrassed and cannot look at him. She asks him what he is doing and calls him crazy. He tells her that he is changing his clothes and asks what the problem is. She tells him that he is naked and that is the problem. Ryu says that she is naked too. Then Ryu explains that his clothes had become too tight, so he tore most of them apart and ended up looking like that. The wyvern tells him that she will teach him a few things about this world. Ryu agrees. She tells him not to take his clothes off anywhere like he just did. Ryu says that he already knows that, then asks her how he can meet the goddesses. The wyvern explains that the goddesses rarely meet humans. To meet them, he must either become one of the 4 heroes or perform a great deed worthy of the goddesses' gratitude. She says that one way to possibly meet them is to become a hunter who hunts monsters inside dungeons. Ryu understands and says that this is why his guide system advised him to become a hunter so he could reach the goddesses. The wyvern is confused and asks what guide he means. Ryu points at the system window, but she cannot see anything. She tells him that there is nothing there. Ryu thinks to himself that he must be the only one who can see it. Then he explains that it is a guide system for humans from other worlds like him, but his own system is broken and he does not know what to do with it. The wyvern asks him how it is broken and wants to know what it says. Then we return to the scene where Ryu enters the place full of hunters. Unlike many other jobs, the hunter job has a much rougher style, so he does not look too suspicious. It is not strange to see high-level hunters with unusual appearances. The wyvern had warned him that many hunters do not like suspicious people, and she was also the one who styled his hair and prepared him. He had advised him to act as naturally as possible so he would not attract suspicion. But unfortunately, our hero is very nervous and cannot relax in the situation. The receptionist asks him if he is Mr. Eric. We discover that Ryu chose the name Eric Garen in this world, but we will keep calling him Ryu. Ryu tells himself not to be nervous, then says yes. The receptionist asks him if he is from Northern Kampal. Ryu says yes, but stumbles over his words, and he is sure that he now looks suspicious. The receptionist welcomes him to the Hunters Guild. Ryu thinks to himself that he would have been in much worse condition if he had followed the broken system's guidance, and that it is a good thing he listened to the wyvern. The receptionist asks him if he wants to transfer from another guild to their guild. He says no. She asks how she can help him then. He says he wants to become a hunter. Then we return to the scene where everyone draws their swords and wants to attack Ryu. The receptionist becomes nervous and asks him if he is trying to say that he is not a hunter yet. Everyone becomes tense and wonders how someone this huge is not already a hunter. They think he might be from another world. One of them tells the others to stay calm so Ryu does not hear them. Ryu is confused and wonders what happened and whether he made a mistake. The receptionist tells him to place his hand on the measuring stone. Ryu keeps asking himself if he has to kill them. Then he thinks that the fact they have not attacked yet means they are suspicious but not certain he is from another world. The receptionist gives him a sly look and tells him that depending on his abilities, they will be able to know the truth. All he has to do is place his hand on the measuring stone. Ryu wonders what this measuring stone does. He thinks it might detect whether someone is from another world or not. If they catch him now, he will not be able to meet the goddesses. Running away now would only prove that he is hiding something. Destroying this place would be easy, but that is not what matters. So he places his hand on the stone and tells himself that he is sure he will pass. The receptionist is shocked and says that all his abilities are at a heroic level. Ryu imagines himself in a heroic scene, saying that they almost caught him, but now he must go kill the evil demon. Unfortunately, all of that turns out to be just hallucinations inside Ryu's head.